He's like, I hate women so much, I'm going to write, women can't go free as men do, right in the stone. Hey folks, welcome to Joel Reads Bible. I'm Joel and I read Bible so that you don't have to. And we are rounding the finish line of Exodus. We are 10 chapters out. Okay, I guess we're 1/3 in. I guess it's nowhere near the end in some ways. We're closer to the end than we were the beginning, but we're way closer to the beginning of the whole entire book than we are to the end. Because as you know, the end is Revelation or Revelations. No one actually knows what the title of that book is. We are reading the whole entire Bible, every single chapter, every single word in the original NIV version. I know that's not the original version. I'm just making a joke so that people can get upset in the comments. Obviously, the NIV is one of the versions that people say is not very good, and I regret ever starting with that one. However, the problem is that it's the one I had. So that's why we're using it. Also, it's the most sold version ever. Anyway, I don't know if the versions make that big of a difference. I'm sure there are some subtleties that changed the meaning of certain texts. But I think if you're exploring certain ideas like God condoning slavery or killing the firstborn of slave girls or seemingly being completely cool with Abraham raping Hagar, I don't think that translation is really going to help you. I don't think that when you actually read the Bible in context like I do here, the subtle difference in wording isn't going to amount to a huge hill of beans, as they say down south. Probably, I don't know. We always said that growing up, and I'm not from down south at all. So anyway, we are here in Exodus chapter 31. If you haven't subscribed, you're a loser. Also, if you're not liking the video, what am I getting out of this? What do you think I'm here for? Like it and leave me a comment, or I'm not going to know you watched it. We're not going to have a relationship, and I want a relationship with you. I want a relationship with you more than God wants a relationship with you. I'm actually talking to you. Look at me. I'm sitting here talking to you directly. I'm looking at you in the eyes, at the camera lens, but I'm looking you in the eyes. And when you leave a comment, I respond, me. This is real. But if you want, you can just pray to a God that doesn't exist, that will not respond to you, if that's what you prefer. But please, do leave a comment. It's better than prayer. I should get that as a t-shirt. Commenting is better than prayer. But okay, we're here at Exodus chapter 31. Let's get into it. Then the Lord said to Moses, "See, I have chosen Bezalel, son of Uri, the son of Hur, in the tribe of Judah, and I have filled him with the Spirit of God, with skill, ability, and knowledge in all kinds of crafts, to make artistic designs for work in gold, silver, and bronze, to cut and set stones, to work in wood, and to engage in all kinds of craftsmanship." So I mentioned this in a previous chapter, or maybe in the recap, that when God fills people with skill, ability, and knowledge in all kinds of crafts, that is a type of infringing on free will. This person didn't have to go out and train or go to school or go to a vocational school or to take any courses in university. None of those things were important to him. God just made him good at that. And I was coming down on God in previous chapters. I was like, wait a second, God, why don't you just, materialize a tabernacle, materialize an ark, materialize all this kind of stuff? But in a sense, God is doing it, or at least the text is claiming that. So God made the Egyptians favorably disposed to give the Hebrews all their stuff, and all that stuff, I'm pretty sure, was what was used in making the tabernacle and all those things. The Egyptians were probably like, here's all our gold. The Hebrews didn't have to mine for that, right? And then who's going to make this stuff? Well, let's just make people really, really good at this type of craftsmanship. We'll make one guy, this drone, this robot, this droid, this guy with ability, superhuman ability, knowledge, and skill to make whatever I need him to make. So God is doing it. The only thing is God doesn't exist in this realm anymore, unlike he used to in Genesis. But God seems to have somewhat limited power here, but he just imbues certain people with that power. Again, there's really very little difference in God not existing and God existing. The only difference is, of course, you can claim that someone who's good at things has been given those abilities by God, which is a huge assumption and very, very difficult, if not impossible, to prove. Moreover, I have anointed Aholiab, son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan, to help him. Also, I have given skill to all the craftsmen to make everything I have commanded you: the tent of meeting, the ark of the testimony, the atonement cover on it, and all the other furnishings of the tent, the table. If you're going to mention all the other furnishings, you don't have to list them. And all the other ones. Do you know what they are? I'll remind you. The table, we get paid by the word count, and its articles, the pure gold lampstand, and all its accessories, the altar of incense, the altar of burnt offerings, and all its utensils, the basin with its stand, and also the woven garments, both the sacred garments for Aaron and the priests, and the garments for his sons when they serve as priests, and the anointing oil, the fragrant incense for the holy place. They are to make them just as I commanded you. Moses is hearing all this at one time, but I probably would have started with, hey, I'm going to make these guys really, really good at making stuff. They're going to be great craftsmen. They're going to be amazing perfumers. They're going to be able to make everything that I want them to make. They're just going to know how. They're just going to know. They don't need to take an online course. They are just going to know. They don't even have to pay me like 30 shekels and I'm going to teach them, in some sort of scuzzy training course. You know how they do that? They're like, oh, I'll teach you how to sell online courses with this online course. God isn't doing that. He's just saying, he knows. Bezalel is going to be good at doing stuff, and Oholiab is going to be good at helping. I would have started there, because if I was Moses and I was listening to all this stuff that we had to make, I would be like, how are we going to... How do you make the ark where are we going to get all the people that make all the curtains how do we melt gold and cover pieces of wood with the gold? Isn't that going to burn the wood? God's like, I'll tell you later. Don't worry about it right now, because I'm going to tell you later, and you're going to be surprised. But do you know Bezalel? I've spoiled. Okay, I've given away too much. Yeah. But it has to do with Bezalel. Then the Lord said to Moses, say to the Israelites, you must observe my Sabbaths. More than one. This will be a sign between me and you for generations to come, so you may know that I am the Lord who makes you holy. So we're just going to get more information about the Sabbath now. Not that we haven't heard about the Sabbath forever. Almost since literally the beginning of time, the Sabbath has been like point number one, I'm pretty sure the Sabbath took the place of don't have sex with kids or don't keep slaves in the top 10. The Sabbath, this is very important. This is almost as important as yeast, I'm pretty sure. Observe the Sabbath because it is holy to you. Well, I guess now it is. Okay, God, yeah, it's holy to me now. Thanks for letting me know what's holy to me. Speak for yourself. Anyone who desecrates it must be put to death. Whoever does any work on that day must be cut off from his people. So this actually is more serious than yeast. I thought that yeast was the most important thing, but no. If you use yeast, you will be cut off. So that's similar. But in this case, if you do anything on the Sabbath, you will be put to death. That's how serious it is. These guys are like, I need a day off. 7 days a week is too much to work. I can't do it. And if you make me work on that day, you might as well just kill me. If I have to pick up sticks or anything, you might as well just effing kill me, because I am not doing it anymore. I'm not doing it. Anyway, can you pass the unleavened bread? I hate yeast. That was a mix between a Hebrew and God, because God's the one that hates yeast. But I guess the Hebrews probably are like, yeah, we don't like yeast either. They're the ones that wrote this. For 6 days, work is to be done, but The seventh day is a Sabbath of rest, holy to the Lord. Whoever does any work on the Sabbath day must be put to death. We're reiterating this at this point. This is one of those ones where it's like, keep going on about it, God. Use up the word count on this. Don't you dare mention anything useful. The Israelites are to observe the Sabbath, celebrating it for the generations to come as a lasting covenant. It will be a sign between me and the Israelites forever. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day he abstained from work and rested. I made the joke way back in Genesis that, God needs a break. He's not really all powerful, is he? He needs a breather. And then somebody said, a leaf might be blowing and then it lands and it just like rested on a rock. So it's not really taking a break on a rock, but it's just not moving anymore on the rock. So in this case, it says here that on the seventh day, he abstained from work and rested. So it feels like it's saying the same thing twice, if that's the case, right? If resting is just abstaining from work, kind of like stopping from moving and just like being at rest. I don't know the original Hebrew, but I feel like this is a stupid apologetic to fight against the wording of the Bible, where God is telling the people to rest. He's saying, you must rest, right? But on the seventh day is a Sabbath of rest. So that could be relaxing and taking a break. It could be just not moving, I guess. And then the Lord abstained from work and rested. It just seems, even in the context, that God is literally resting the way you are supposed to rest. It's trying to shoehorn the idea in there that it's just stopping. Just stop. You guys have to stop on the Sabbath day. Everyone just like stop and not be moving. It feels like trying a little too hard to prove that your God is all powerful when the Bible gives indicators that he seems somewhat human or somewhat fallible, I suppose. But I will say that this isn't a big deal, guys. When I make a joke about God resting and him needing a break because he's not all powerful, so he gets winded, all you have to say is the same thing you say when you go, who told you you were naked? Or I'm going down there to check out what's happening and I'll know. It's anthropomorphizing God. That's all you have to say. Don't you remember that apologetic? All you have to say is the reason why God rested was for us. It was for us to understand this concept of rest, because we know we need to rest. So God is kind of leading by example. He doesn't need it. He's doing it for us. Why don't you just say that? It's hyperbole. It's just words. It doesn't really matter. That's not the point of it. Why don't you say that? Don't try to go, the rest doesn't mean rest. It means rest when you're going to rest. But with God, it means he just stopped. Like, grow up. You have apologetics to get out of this. You already know how to wiggle and squirm out of a text which definitely isn't clear and isn't saying what you want it to say. So just use those. You don't have to make a new one, all right? The new one doesn't work. The old one isn't great either, but at least you can use it for a bunch of problems. Just do that. You guys are trying really hard, and I really appreciate you. When the Lord finished speaking to Moses on Mount Sinai, he gave him the 2 tablets of the testimony, the tablets of stone inscribed by the finger of God. It sounds like these tablets, and I don't know what the font size is on them, but it sounds like they might have the top 10 commandments from Exodus 20, the slave laws and the bull laws from Exodus 21, the rest of those laws from 22, and do they even have all this instruction on how to build the tabernacle and stuff? Because all of that is what Moses is bringing down the mountain, right? Like, he's been up the mountain for a while, and he's been getting a lot of information. And now he's got all the information on 2 either massive tablets, or maybe they're tablets he can carry, but they've got little tiny writing. So you're like, what is that? But I feel like God did etch his slavery laws into stone. That's how important it is that his people own each other as slaves. He's like, I hate women so much, I'm going to write, women can't go free as men do, right in the stone. Ugh. That's Yahweh. That's the God you worship. That's the daddy of Jesus / also Jesus. So good luck, Christians. All right. Well, anyway, that is chapter 31. I think it was short and sweet. We didn't learn that much. We got a little bit of a recap. They drove home the idea of the Sabbath, which we already are aware of the Sabbath. I guess he sort of like doubled down on the Sabbath here. He's like, yeah, I told you to do the Sabbath. I told you why we're doing the Sabbath because I rested. So everyone rests. I want you to remember me with the Sabbath, with your day off. And actually, you know what? If you don't follow it, I'm going to effing kill you. I'm actually, you know what? I don't think you guys are getting how serious I am about this. I'm going to kill you if you don't follow it, right? Like that's where this is the new level. I don't know if it'll ever happen where somebody gets killed because they disobeyed the Sabbath. I mean, that would be way over the top, God. I hope it doesn't actually come to pass. But anyway, thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time for chapter 32. Which I think is going to actually be pretty exciting by the looks of it. So subscribe, like, and comment, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.